SMU upsets Miami yesterday in Dallas. Joe, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. After all the ridicule and blame that I took from Miami fans, for the first time this year, they went on the road and left the state of Florida and got beat by the Mustangs. Your thoughts?
Blake, this was really annoying. It was really annoying. Before we talk about this game, I'm bothered by, and I really don't give a shit when we get into this conversation. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the commentary from everybody that's tried to come back and dunk on me for my takes on Miami. To sit here and say, after the way that they played in the first 5 weeks, that Miami is ass, that they were overrated, I think is a simpleton take. I think that it is a very lazy, simple take to have to just go, oh, they were overrated, they weren't good. This team has regressed. Tell me that you think that this team is the same team that we saw in the first month of the season. They are not playing the same way. And we know, and we're going to get into this, this is a Mario Cristobal problem that he does not do a good job of making sure his teams finish. I was talking about this with my roommate, Sean, yesterday, that I played with him in college, and we were kind of talking about how maybe this hardo nature and personality that Cristobal has, maybe it wears his teams down to this point where they're just out of energy. They do not have the same intensity. They do not have the same attention to detail. They had 12 penalties in this game. They had 8 in the first half. They had blown assignments. Their secondary played a lot better at the beginning of the year, and they made a lot of mistakes. Their offensive line's not getting pushed anymore. Their run game's not getting the same level of production. And Carson Beck looked very different in the first month of September than he has to this point. Blake,
I'm elbow's getting weak.
I'm just rounding this out to say, Blake, it is not as just a simple concept to go, you were wrong about Miami. You're an asshole for saying what you did. That is not at all what applies to this circumstance. They have taken a step backward, and the team that I bought into at the beginning of the year is not the one that we're watching at the current moment. It's an indictment on Cristobal, and it's a serious problem that this is how he performs in the month of November in his time at Miami. Something has to change. I don't know what it is because I'm not in the locker room, but it's absolute BS the way that this thing has collapsed at the end of every single season, seemingly.
Well, this has been Mario's problem at Oregon and Miami. This isn't just a one place situation. Like, again, I've made this reference before and I'll make it again. Joe, they got put in a body bag by a 6-6 Auburn team when he had Justin Herbert a top 10 pick. Body bagged with Bo Nix in his first ever game in college. Joe, I'm going to say one thing and then kind of get into the game here. I told you they had a problem in the interior of their offensive line. That was literally the conversation when we broke this game down in the beginning. When we previewed this game down, we had so many comments from Miami fans. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. We don't have an issue. Oh, really? Well, let's get into the game. Joe, in the late part of the third quarter, you had a 3rd and 4. You got 2 yards or got 3 yards. 4th and 1, you can't convert. You try to run right up the middle, can't convert. Beginning part of the fourth quarter, 3rd and 1, you got stuffed again. You go for it because you have a timeout. So they run the play. They didn't blow the whistle. It was a timeout. You didn't get it. The second time, you go for it. Same freaking play, which is stupid, by the way. You don't get it. So many issues yesterday for Miami came when you could not capitalize off of mistakes. SMU clearly and continued to give you so many opportunities, whether it be the first quarter where they fumble the ball on the 50-yard line, and then you kick a field goal, but then there was a delay of game, then you wind up having to punt. Then you get into the situation where, Joe, they're constantly defensively attacking one guy in Thomas at safety. Just go back and watch it. They're constantly throwing at number 8. You might need to do something different if they're attacking one guy constantly. I go to the situations where, Joe, the missed field goal with 5 minutes left that would have ended the game. It would have ended it. So many situations that Miami look, I don't want to take anything away from SMU. Miami never could overcome and put the game away. In the third quarter, they threw the ball at the safety Thomas 4 straight times for a touchdown drive. That's on Heatherman. Buddy, they were attacking one player and he didn't have an answer. He did not have an answer. They had a hard time containing Jennings when it comes to overall contain. But here's the thing for me. The 133rd secondary in the entire country locked you down. Let me repeat that. Joe, going into the game, they were 133rd in the country in passing yards allowed. Now, this secondary's been very boom or bust. They have 14 interceptions. They are the worst team in the Power Four at giving up yards and passing, and you kept trying to do the same things over and over again that weren't working. They are a bad coach football team. I hate to say it like that, but they are. They have so many issues that when something continues to be attacked, they don't want to adjust ever. So whether it's the interior of the offensive line, Joe, why are they running it there anymore? I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but this has been an issue so many times. But here's the thing. You know how I know that they've been poorly coached over the last month? Hudson had 11 catches for 136 yards. What was your other loss to? And what did Chris Bell do to you? They literally didn't change in game. Hudson continued with damn near one arm, and he had 11 catches. Joe, he had the J.J. Watt armband on, the elbow ball, the brace, and they kept throwing the ball to him. I mean, I look at Mario and ask, are you not being? Can you not see the game? Can you not see the same game that we're seeing on TV? Because the bottom line is, if you're constantly trying to run the ball at the middle and you can't convert, well, maybe you need to do something different. If you constantly are getting attacked through the air with one guy, maybe you need to do something. And by the way, if you're going to try to go vertical and a secondary that's not good is able to lock you down, why don't you start hitting stuff underneath? But the bottom line is this. In overtime, you ran the ball for 3 straight times. You got the ball to the 4-yard line. Why did you put the ball in Carson Beck's hands? I'll ask you this again. Joe, right before the half, Carson Beck missed 3 straight throws. You had 2 timeouts. You called both of them. So you didn't even run the ball on incompletions. Then he turns the ball over in overtime. I look at them and see a badly coached, managed team. That's what I see. They have athletes, they have talent, but it seems as if that they always, whether it was last year or this year, they ran themselves into the wall. Last thing I'd say here, what was the problem with them last year? What kept happening at the end of the year?
Bad run defense.
Bad run defense and bad secondary on blown calls. On blown coverage, excuse me.
Yeah.
What happened yesterday? What happened against Louisville? What's the only thing that remains the same? It's one guy, by the way. You completely threw your defensive staff underneath the bus. You went and got a brand new secondary, and one receiver is eating you alive. So when I come out here in the beginning of the season and Miami fans hate my guts, maybe you should start listening.
This is the issue that comes with this whole conversation with them, is that I no longer have any desire to put any sort of faith into Miami until the month of November comes. Like legitimately, I'm not going to do it in the future as long as Mario Cristobal is there, because I'm tired of looking stupid. Legitimately, it's 2 straight years of looking dumb because I have committed to them and said that they were a good team. I don't care to reiterate that you believe that they were overrated. They shouldn't have been as hyped up as they were. Not you. I'm just saying generally to the people that were on the opposite side of me. They have clearly taken a step backward. What?
I mean, I did kind of think that. Remember, that was the whole debate. I thought that they were fraudulent in some areas in the interior of their offensive line. Yeah. I didn't think their run game was as prevalent as they need to, and we did talk about that.
The biggest problem that plagues this team, though, and has sparked the regression, and you kind of referenced it, college football teams are supposed to evolve as the season goes on. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to progress and to improve. You're supposed to find new ways to win. You can't just keep doing the same shit over and over again and expect different results or better results. So when you can't generate explosive plays, that's hurting you right now. And the only way that you could get explosive plays previously was Malachi Toney creating after the catch. And then you don't find ways to build off of that throughout the year. Of course, this is how things have turned. I also feel like having as physical of a run game as you did for the first half of the season, why have you not been more deliberate of setting plays up off of that? I feel like that wasn't really the case. And maybe I'm misinterpreting how things have gone over the last couple of weeks because I don't have the context of their play action percent. Let me just finish. I don't have the context of what their play action percentage has been in this span, but I would feel like if you were running the ball so well, you should build your offense for the remaining part of the season off of that because teams are going to load the box, which they're doing, that you could then find success attacking downfield, attacking space that's now been created because teams are desperate to stop your run game. Instead, you're just running into a brick wall and slamming your head against that wall over and over again, producing nothing. Because
they're constantly running inside zone or inside power. That's why. They never attack the perimeter, ever. Again, you brought up Toney, just as an example. The long punt return to the 10-yard line.
They didn't even score a touchdown off of that.
No, they had to settle for a field goal. I mean, then you get a situation where you kick a field goal, then you got to delay a game. You had to settle there too. Joe, listen, we are talking about Miami here in SMU 1. But I look at this game and say to myself, Joe, Kevin Jennings constantly breaking contain. I got to be real with you. Look, Ruben Bain yesterday was one of the most undisciplined human beings on that field. And it's not close. And by the way,
he has not played well, by the way, since the beginning of the year.
He's not played well. Here's another, you know how I know they're undisciplined too? It's not, it trickles down. You had 12 penalties for 96 yards.
8 in the first half.
Like 8 in the first half. When you could have separated from them, you kept over and over and over again. And listen, to Rhett Lashley, to that entire staff, and to be honest with you, hats off to Jennings. I mean, he played his ass off. He made some bad throws, but he made the right throws into the busted coverages. Joe, they wanted it more at the end. And listen, Carson Beck, I don't know what to say here. Joe, he's just a bad decision maker. He always has been. I mean, what have the last 2 years taught us? He's going to make bad decisions. But to put the ball in his hands when you're running it right down their throat is idiotic in and of itself. And you're trying to go to Malachi Toney. I get it. But every single time, SMU was able to stand firm. Now, I'll say this about SMU. Listen, they can't run the ball to save their life. They had 23 rushing yards on the day. But Kevin Jennings is doing things, Joe, that quite frankly are kind of unhuman in some regards. He should not be able to run the way that he ran yesterday. Again, the 23 yards, you see that on a box score and you're like, damn, that ain't good at all. The problem was he had -8 rushing yards, and that's fine. But at the same time, he had 3 massive 10-yard runs for first downs in the fourth quarter. Like, God bless America. They are so undisciplined. Ruben Bain, for what it's worth, I don't like calling him out. He's going to be a top 10 pick, deserves to be a top 10 pick. But, Joe, he is undisciplined.
Well, this is what my whole point with the regression is that they were the most disciplined defense. And anyone who wants to debate me on this, go watch the fucking film from the beginning of the year. They were the most fundamentally sound defense in college football, playing against good teams. They played a good Florida team that is a challenging team, despite what's gone wrong for them. Florida State was a challenging team at the time. On top of this, they beat Notre Dame, and they beat those teams by being fundamentally sound. And this is the whole point of the regression, is that that's all gone away. It's blown assignment after just big play that's allowed. There's been no adjustments. There's been no steps forward. I think that they lose another game. They're going to finish the year 9-3, and we're going to have – he's not going to get fired. Mario Cristobal's not going to get fired because he's producing success at Miami and consistency, which they haven't really had. But I don't know what the path forward looks for Miami if the same problems keep holding it back.
The grass isn't always greener. Who was their head coach before? Just throwing this out there.
Manny Diaz.
Huh. What was Manny Diaz doing? I mean, listen, Mario is Mario, and they are just an undisciplined. They are a physically imposing, undisciplined football team. And when you can have all the talent in the world, when you're out of assignment, you're gonna get your ass whooped. Again, any thought you had on SMU? Because
they're not a playoff team, so I don't. I mean, like what they just don't affect the college football landscape.
Well, I do want to talk about the winner, but at the same time, it's just like I felt like Miami dominated that game. Joe, they had 37 minutes of time of possession. They just kept shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, I don't know how else to break that game down. I'm like, how did that? I can't fathom how they lost that game, by the way. It blows my mind.
Yeah, they should have. It was, I don't know. I'm out of words. The bad game. Bad game.
All right, everybody do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We greatly appreciate it. It's the only thing that Joe and I will ask for you throughout the show. And by the way, every Ruffino and Joe show is presented by and powered by our good partners over at FanDuel.